we've got busy breweries, packed tap rooms, and somehow these breweries are still not making the money that they should be doing.
Yep.
Why?
Yeah, so I can tell you from my perspective, and I think this is pretty universal as well, is that craft brewing is a romantic industry. It is a hobbyist turn business, but really a hobby. So what that leaves us with is really talented artisan creators, not aware of the guardrails they have to stay within, not aware of the benchmarks that they have to follow. And so a little bit of leak here and a little bit of leak here. And oh yeah, that anniversary party where we were supposed to make 10,000 in profit, we only made 1,500 because we had to order the extra ice. And then the band ended up needing a new sound system. And it just starts to bleed from here and there. And so my biggest thing is that breweries really need to lead with the numbers. They need to lead with the numbers. And in the 20 teens, when everything was rip roaring, nobody wanted to talk about the numbers. Nobody wanted to talk about this acronym on my hat or profit. And I actually would get booed out of the room if I tried to talk about it because everyone was making money. No, when you're making money, you don't want to talk about it. 2017, 2018, the pinnacle of breweries were open and everyone kind of looked to the right and left and like, wait a minute. That customer that came in 5 times a week is now coming in twice a week and I know they're drinking 5 days a week, but they're going other places. Then COVID hit. In our office, we call COVID a stay of execution because of all the money that was handed out by the government. Because really what's happening now should have happened in 2020. Really what's happening now should have happened.
Put a bit of a pause on it, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And so to answer your question, it's just about not understanding the basic blocking and tackling of running a business. If you have a budget for an event or you have a budget for a month, you've got to stick to that budget. And feelings are going to get hurt. And some luxuries are going to have to be left off the table. But at the end of the day, we're running a business. And yeah, we just have to lead with the numbers.
Lead with the numbers. Yeah. So dude, in your presentation, you eloquently broke it down into kind of key sectors as to when we're looking at the numbers, where those wins can be had. And like, let's dive into those. One of them was the tap room, right? How important is the tap room today compared to traditional distribution, just getting the beer out there?
Yeah, look, your tap room is your honey hole. Right? Your tap room is your honey hole. And that's actually how we designed our benchmarks. We start by following the dollar at your brewery. How much revenue, how much sales do you have in your tap room? How much sales do you have in distribution? No other industry in the land has such a gap between those margins. Right? So I'm about to, you guys are getting really early sneak preview on content. If someone hands you €7 for a pint, y'all euro or pounds?
Pounds, dude. We're still rocking a pound over here.
All right. If someone hands you £7 for a pint, okay, seven pounds go into the register. That pint costs you 70 cents to make, right? So $6.30 is left over to pay the bills, pay the people, pay the rent, pay the food, pay the cost, all that stuff. Versus in distribution, I don't know what the keg costs there, but here we sell, if you're self-distributing, you're selling a keg for $150 to the account. Mm-hmm. If you're working with a distributor, you're selling it for $115, right? When you break that down per pint, you're talking about somewhere between 70 cents and $1.21 is staying to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I mean, so the tap room is a honey hole. $6.30 versus $1.15 is what you have left over to pay the bills. So
it's a no-brainer.
Tap room is highly, highly profitable. And what we've done is we've taken 12 tips of our most successful clients over the past 15 years, right? Not just current clients, over the past 15 years, and said, this is what these folks are doing to continue generating more profit and more money in their tap rooms. So I know your listeners. I know your listeners know this, that the tasting room, the tap room, the pub is where the money is.
But it's about optimizing that, isn't it? It's about squeezing every possible penny out of it. So you teased it there, dude. You said 12 things. Come on, man. Let's unveil. Sorry. What are the 12? Let's dive into some of these, Chris. What's the big ones?
Sure. So we break them down into 4 pillars. Beer is first, obviously. Food is second. Brand, and then team. Those are the 4 pillars of highly successful tap rooms. And then when we drill into each of those, right? So let's start with beer. Pricing is your number 1 lever in the tap room. Okay. And we have an amazing workbook that we can share with your listeners on what happens if you just tweak the pricing slightly based on historical sales volume and training your team on actively selling, right? So it's the results are exponential if you really optimize that pricing. But pricing is a touchy topic when it comes to breweries. Number 1, they think they're gonna upset the customer. Number 2, they may be uncomfortable with talking about pricing. Number 3, they may just price what their neighbor brewery is pricing, right? Not even understanding the economics or the numbers behind it. I'm here to tell you, you're local, you're using high quality ingredients and expensive, and people are coming there for a palate, a palate bomb, a beautiful, beautiful tasting beer. So please charge for it, right?
So
please
you're saying 9
charge
times
for
out
the
of
high.
10, it's charging more. We're not looking at charging less here. It's always increasing that price, right?
100%.
And then you talked about training your staff in terms of like increase. What do you mean by that then?
Yeah. So where I come from, a lot of the staff are very passionate about beer, and they can tell you everything about that beer. What they're not comfortable with is selling, right? What they're not comfortable with is asking for folks to take beer home, or if they want another pint, or if they can have a conversation about the weather, the children, the sports, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to selling, they are uncomfortable. And that takes practice. It takes role playing, and it takes practice, and it takes repetition in order to get them more comfortable. So a lot of the talk is pushing the owners in the room to begin to bring sales. We know your outside reps are out selling, and we know they can talk, right? But bring that same mentality into the pub, generating more, because our data tells us that everything that leaves your pub has major profit built into it.
And if you are like educating your staff, if they are doing that upsell on another pint, or if they're encouraging people to take a 4-pack away with them, do you have the data that shows like kind of how much we're seeing breweries like go up in profit?
Yeah. So my good friend in town here named Andrew Copeland in the States, Andrew Copeland is, he runs Craft Beer Professionals. A lot of your listeners are probably in his group. He has close to 30,000 members in this Facebook group, right? And so he also runs a company called Secret Hopper. They send in secret shoppers into tap rooms, and they give you a plethora of data on what was the temperature inside, what was the temperature outside. His data comes back to say that customers, when not prompted or asked, will purchase beer to go, I think 9% of the time, 8 or 9% of the time, versus when they're asked, it jumps up to 50% of the time they will take beer to go.
That's incredible.
Insane.
And what I'm hearing here as well is like the price conversation is hard. I completely understand that. You're going to have owners who are going to be like, oh, how do I justify this to the members? I can't. They're going to get upset if we put the price up. But actually, if the in-house staff just being a little bit more proactive, that is an incredible way to bring more revenue in.
Yep.
I think it's amazing.
Yep.
Okay. So that is price increases, but that's tricky. I understand it. training of the staff to upsell, great. Anything else around the beer? Or are we looking in different sectors now?
No, I mean, the last topic we hit really is the variety, and we're really moving into this era now of inclusion, and we've got to offer the cider, we've got to offer the NA, we've got to offer the hop water, so maybe even spirits, right? So this mentality of we brew beer, we only serve beer, that's gone these days, and if you're in that mentality, you may be left behind. You're definitely leaving money on the table, but you may be left behind.
Yeah, I can see that. And I've had this conversation in the past. Like you might have someone going there for the beer, but you might have a family, you might have a partner.
Yeah.
They're not big beer fans, and you want to give them a reason to stick around so you can have that extra beer. And so they want to have that gin, they want to have that wine. So I completely understand the diversifying aspect.
Yep.
So then you talked about food. Food is a tricky section, right? You know, you've got a lot of people who just got into this industry to make beautiful beer, not grill up or fry up chicken tenders or whatever it needs to be.
Right. Yeah. So back in 2012, I don't know why I came up with this, but I came up with the quote, everyone has to eat, nobody has to drink. And it came out in a blog post, and then it came out in a couple interviews, and it's true. Nobody has to drink alcohol, but everyone has to consume calories and food. And that kind of got shelved. That got shelved until like a year before COVID. And people started coming out and being like, I think you're right. So it's weird in the United States, right? West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington State, Nevada, they were built on pubs. And we define a pub as food and beer, food and beverage. East Coast was all tap rooms. Like we didn't realize that you were weird if you opened up with food, right? Well, that's changed, right? So food keeps people there longer. It's a responsible addition to alcohol. It increases the check value. It allows the staff to have more conversation and build more goodwill with the customer, right? And everyone loves to just nibble while they drink. It's just a thing that it's part of the social aspect of it. So food is really, really critical. And when we look at our pillars, we're not asking you to offer filet mignon. We just
I'd be down with that. Why don't more breweries do filet mignon? Come on.
Right. Understand your audience, understand your neighborhood, and serve what they want. Right? Keep it simple, keep it consistent.
What about those breweries who are just restricted on space? They don't have room to put a kitchen in their venue.
Yeah, I used to be hardcore. Your branded kitchen. We don't want any brand dilution. We don't want to bring in an awesome chef or an awesome truck. That's all out the door. Keep it consistent. Bring in a trailer. Bring in a tent. Bring in a food truck. Just offer a consistent experience and offer the customers food. That's where I am today.
So it's just allow them to have good food in your venue. You don't have to necessarily be the ones cooking it, but get some food in the venue.
Absolutely.
And then what are you seeing in terms of the numbers from that side of things? Like what's the increase if that's happening?
So when a brewery introduces food, we typically see a 30% increase in beer pint sales. Okay. A 30% increase in beer pint sales. And I started off with a number, right? Someone hands you 7 pounds, costs you 70 cents to make it. You're keeping £6.30 to pay the rest of the bills. I mean, that's our honey hole, our pints in the tasting room. So if that's increasing 30%, then yeah. Would you say, I know this, you're asking me the questions, but would you say a majority of the tap rooms in the UK offer food?
Yeah, it's becoming more and more common. I think it's more probably the pop-up side of things that you're seeing because for whatever reason, the venue's not kitted out quite right, but they've got a car park. You've got great offerings, especially after COVID, where a lot of people were dabbling about, hey, I like this cooking thing, and I might be able to make a really good grilled cheese or just pizza or whatever it is. So we're seeing more and more. And we've also got some where it's just a case of going, there are maybe takeaways nearby and they let people bring that food in. Yep. Which again, I suppose you're not making profit on that food, but you're still keeping people in the venue longer. So the money goes up, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So food is critical. Food is critical.
Every day of the week, or like if you've got a pop-up or if you've got a van coming along, do you need to focus in on certain days of the week?
I mean, certainly around events. Certainly that's the responsible thing. I would say, look, I've seen all sorts of models, right? So a pub opens and they're completely shut down on Monday. That's the first thing. And they only do lunches Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but they're open for dinner Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So look, if you're going to do it, you need to do it right. Now, you have to back it up with your specialty to drive people to the venue and to get people there. But simply just saying, I'm going to open up and they will come, that doesn't work. And you can speak to that more than I can. So it's kind of full circle, right? If you're going to commit to the kitchen, have it open as many times as much as possible, but also have the means to drive the business into the tap room, tasting room.
Yo, I just want to take a second out of Branding for Breweries to make you aware of something. For those of you who don't know, outside of hosting Branding for Breweries, writing the book Branding for Breweries, I also provide independent breweries with hands-on support with their branding, design, and marketing. In fact, it's even better than that because it's not just me, it's a whole bunch of awesome independent brewery folks who are dedicated to doing the very best for each and every independent brewery. The team have worked with some incredible breweries like Northern Monk, Ossett, Brains, Pillars, all over the globe, and gaining results like doubling revenue, winning Rebrand of the Year, even gaining over 7 million views on the TikTok channel. So if you're looking to level up your brewery's branding and marketing this year, drop us a message over at www.thebrandweavercollective.com and a member of the team will get back to you and we can have a chat. Now, back to the show.
And this then leads on to brand, which is obviously my baby, my love, my passion.
Sure.
Chris, how can having great branding make a brewery more money? And this is going to be the clip that I'm going to put everywhere, by the way.
Yeah. So when it comes to branding, we talk about a couple different things here, right? So we talk about events, we talk about merch, and we talk about local distribution, right? So where do you want to start? You want to start with events?
Let's go events. Yeah.
So events are a major moneymaker. Events are a major moneymaker, and the reason is well, we have three types of events. I'm going to focus on private events for today, and the reason they're a major moneymaker is you should have all the details ironed out before the event happens. You should have a deposit in place. You should know how many guests, and more importantly, you should know the profit that you're going to make, how much staff you're going to need, how much beer they're going to drink, or the minimum, how much food they're going to order. Right? You should know your profit before it even happens. So we love that. Some breweries are constrained by space and they can't offer private events. Right? That one other event I'll talk about is the we call it not the weekly programming, but like promotional stuff. So anniversaries, holidays. Some breweries in the US do a monthly makers market, a flea market. Right? Where they invite local makers to set up tents and sell. Others will do a themed menu. So a paella, a pig roast, a barbecue, a traditional barbecue. This is over and above their menu, right? And these, you don't have as much intel. You're typically not selling tickets. You're just promoting, and your space and your experience speaks for itself and the place gets packed.
And I assume the logic here is the same with food, right? You're just giving another reason to come to the tap room, which increases the likelihood of them drinking your beer.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Merch was the next one, right?
Yeah. Merch.
Guys, breweries in America do merch so much better than here in the UK for the most part. There are some sick merch makers out there for the UK, but a lot of the time, the brewery stuff I've seen in America is so much better. So why is that such a moneymaker?
So merch, we love merch. Where can you purchase something, mark it up 100%? You buy a shirt for $9, you're selling it for 20, 21, right? Buy a hat for $8, you're selling it for 20, right? The markup is great. Where can you buy something, mark it up 100%, stick it on a wall and have it sell? That's beautiful when it comes to the data, but the dark side of merch is the cash outlay, the money outlay in order to get the stuff and then it just sits on the shelf. Right? Merch is walking advertising. Every brewery should have some of it. You know, I would say, yes, we do it well here, but like everything in America, we're just overindulgent on everything. Like sometimes we overdo it. Are you familiar with Walmart or Costco?
Yeah.
So some breweries have a Walmart as a merch store.
Okay.
And I would say that's probably too much.
So what are the key products that you're thinking, what would you recommend for a brewery to have?
Yeah, so 15 items. Pick 15 items.
Still a lot more than UK breweries, dude. You're lucky if you're getting a t-shirt and a hat here.
Well, so buddy, I mean that when people hear it, when they hear 15 items, I have to go a step further and say, okay, you can have multiple SKUs under that item. So t-shirt is an item. You can have 2 colors and then all the modifying sizes. So, I mean, I'm okay with the focus. I'm okay with the focus, right? Of a really small and tight merch area. But are we talking about it? Is the staff wearing it? Are we selling it on the way out?
And again, so this is 15 items. The fear, like you say, the initial outlay, that's a lot of money. But then there's the fear that it's just not going to shift.
Yes.
So is there an approach for like marking it down, just trying to get it out the door and not losing money?
Yeah. So let's say a brewery in the UK has like 2 hats and 2 shirts with a bunch of different sizes. Like I could let that, I could let that sit, right? I could let that sit. But when you're talking about a mini Walmart, you've got to recoup that cash. Okay. And we have a system where after we want to recoup the cash in 30 days. So at day 31, we will mark it down, let's say 30%. Right. To entice people to try to move it. I'm sorry, I take that back. By day 60, we want to move it in 30 days. Double that, we mark it down 30%. And then at day 90, we mark that down 50%.
So you're still making profit, just not as much.
You're still making profit. The whole thing with merch is get your cash back. Right. Get your cash back.
For those things that are really hard to shift, then that becomes competition prizes and things that you can use from a marketing side of things.
Right. Yeah. Take it to festivals, hand it out. Absolutely. Just get it back. I mean, you're probably not going to recoup your cash on it, but I mean, here you have breweries that have multiple onesies for kids. I mean, yeah, that's sometimes it goes a little out of hand with the merch purchasing, but I would say I love merch. I have tons of it, and it's a great marketing tool for your establishment.
And to be clear, this is merch that's in the venue that people can see, touch, and feel, and after a couple of beers go, hey, that looks pretty trendy, I want to buy it. Having it as an online store, some kind of drop shipping thing, is just not going to have the same result.
No. And let's go back to beer to go as well. I mean, I'm a huge proponent, 9-foot cooler, well lit, branded, out in the open so customers can open it and feel and touch and look at the branding. Same thing with the merch. Needs to be out, available for customers to touch and feel, because that's the way we buy, right? You don't go to a department store and say, I want the shirt behind the counter, or you don't go to a C store. Do y'all call them C stores?
No, what's a C store?
Convenience stores.
Oh, okay. Yep, got it. We know convenience stores, just the abbreviation really threw me for a second, dude.
Yeah, convenience stores are designed, they're brilliant, right? So you walk in and there's a wall of coolers. And that's by design. So you went in there to get a bottle of water, but you left with a bottle of water, a Red Bull, a Kit Kat, and a Baby Ruth. Right. But it's all by design. So I'm not asking you to turn your tap room into a convenience store. Just let the customer touch and feel the items.
You've got to be inspired by what they're doing, that for a reason. It's done for a purpose. And the third one you talked about with brand was local distribution, right?
Yep.
So help us to understand that a bit more. How can local distribution make more money for the brewery?
Yeah, tying it back to the intro talk, right, with the numbers. Okay, so if you're only keeping a measly, somewhere between $1 and $1.15 on distro beers, not a lot of breweries are making money on that. That is a distribution is a very hard business these days. It's always been a hard business, and you've got to get to a certain volume and size and focus and marketing behind that. So our recommendation for breweries that are really taproom focused is put your beer in cans, put your beer in kegs, find the accounts that will bring you in that are around the brewery with the whole idea of driving business back to your taproom, back to the pub. And we want to encourage customers to stay familiar with our brand and come and visit our pub. So that's really distributing with a purpose, right? A lot of breweries I hear say, hey, no, we're distributing way above our weight class, but it's just a marketing expense. Well, how are you tracking that? Well, we don't know. They're just seeing our brand. That was cool in 2017. That's not working with the numbers these days, right? That's just taking a guess.
So how do you work out the venues that are worthwhile partnering up with that are going to bring those people back to your tap room?
Yeah. So a couple different ways. Number one, it's usually relationship based. And is the venue, is the restaurant a fan, a friend? Are they highlighting you? Do you get a spot on the menu? Do they allow you to come in and host a small event there? Do they allow you to put up signage? Do they allow you to just stay top of mind to customers? Right. So that's the draft side of it. And then on the package side of it, or the case side of it, right? We have this unique. Do you remember what I said during the session with the wooden coin?
With the coins, my man, yeah.
Yeah. So you can get a wooden coin made. One side is branded with your brand, and the other side has an offer. Let's say it's a free appetizer, $1 off a pint, a free pint if you're allowed to do that, and you can place that. It fits really nice under the pack tech. It fits really snug under the pack tech. So I think you can get 1,000 of these coins made for literally $200. They're so cheap. And the wooden, they're pretty indestructible. So you place it under the pack tech and they bring it in, and you can track how successful that campaign is with the returns of the wooden coin. And then you can reuse them, of course, with the next set. But that's just, those are examples of distributing with a purpose.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm going to love the coin thing. I have my own one, right? It all works. But even, I suppose, for breweries here in the UK who don't have the pack tech, which is like kind of the 4 clip-on piece, they've got gift boxes, they've got some kind of packaging that something could easily be put in, which is going to drive that interest back to the tap room again. All right, Chris.
Yeah, look, here's another one. And this, I'm taking a play out of your playbook here, right? I mean, I like the QR code to a cell phone to an offer. And start building an SMS list that way. Very successful. I mean, people can opt out at any time, but SMS is can be very effective if used sparingly and in the right way.
Yeah, not overly leveraged here in the UK right now. That whole SMS and push notification thing. We want to see more of it. Like Tapwise do a phenomenal job. I love those guys out in the States. Everyone go and check that out, actually. Okay, Chris, we talked about beer, food, brand. Last one was team, right? Take a drink. We're going in deep on the last one. Chris, how can the team make the brewery more money?
Yeah, so look, brewery owners, you know this. You can't do it alone. You've built a team. The biggest thing here is give your taproom manager, your GM, your whoever's running the taproom, the autonomy to bring their vibe into the taproom. If they're a talking head for you, it's going to be felt pretty quickly, and the authenticity is going to be out the door. So really allow them to run the show. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're a cycling themed brewery, they change you to a zebra themed brewery, right? That's not what I'm getting at. They work within guardrails that you assign them, but they get to hire They get to promote, they get to run the programming, and really let it go from there, and let them shine. It'll be well received, way better received from the staff. Now, we've talked a lot about selling, right? And this idea of the taproom staff should be selling, but they're more so order takers. Every brewery has a rock star salesperson. Every brewery has a rock star taproom person that is passionate about the beer, loves to talk, and also has this charismatic selling thing to them. I would like you to utilize that individual to encourage and train the other staff on how to do it. How do you approach someone who is extra quiet? How do you approach someone who's extra talkative? How do you divide your time evenly between all the patrons? What's appropriate to say? What's inappropriate to say? When do I offer the upsell? Some people, this is just intuitive for them. And you need to extract that information out of that person and help the others become more comfortable and confident in selling.
Makes perfect sense. And going back to your other point about the leadership and letting them be involved and take the lead, I suppose that you get far more investment from someone that way as well, instead of like, oh, you're going to do as I do and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. Like, if they feel collaborators in that environment, if they feel connected and more passionate about the brand and about the brewery, that is just going to be echoed and shown throughout.
Yep.
Okay, my man. So we've covered all four then, right? Beer, food, brand, and team.
Those are the four.
Check us out at 36 minutes as well.
I know.
All right, Chris, my man, if you're talking to brewery owners here, they might be listening now, they might be listening in the future. This is us talking from the past to you in the future, brewery owners. Remember that. It's time travel, technically. What mindset shift do they need to make now if they want to see their brewery survive long term?
I mean, it's a business. It is a business. It needs to be run like a business every day of the week, right? Every day of the week. And that could mean hiring a new manager. That could mean ownership stepping aside in areas that they're deficient in and bringing someone in to really handle that. So breweries that will survive, I mean, of course you have to make good beer, but that's like saying, a sandwich shop has to make good sandwiches. Well, of course, you've got to make good quality liquid, but a step further than that is really understanding the numbers and treating it like a hardcore business.
I mean, makes perfect sense, man. And I've seen it here in the UK that those successful breweries are the ones that have someone who's great at the liquid and someone who's great at the business. It doesn't have to be the same person. You just have to find that wonderful combination, and that's where you start to see it thrive.
Yep.
Final thing then, Chris. If you've got someone listening today, we've talked about so many things that they could implement, but it's so hard to do it all at once, right?
Yep.
Where's the thing that you would say, right, focus in on this bit first? What's the first step to start building up that extra money coming in?
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a suggestion, and I'm gonna do one better and give everyone a softball, if you will, an offer to let us help you figure this out. But the number one lowest hanging fruit is going to be pricing. Figuring out what your pricing is and figuring out what you're leaving on the table, right? And so we've developed what we call profit plays. We have 6 profit plays, 3 for taproom, 3 for distribution. And I am willing to run a profit play with your listeners. We'll have a link in the show notes. I'm willing to run actually the pricing profit play for your listeners. I think when it comes to taproom, we have pricing, we have labor, and then we have events. Those are the 3 biggest movers for the taproom. In distro, we have pricing, we have account visits, and then oh boy, I forgot the 3rd profit play on distro. Anyway, we're talking about taproom today, right? Mm-hmm. So pricing is going to be the lowest hanging fruit and most impactful if done properly. And I'm not talking about a 1 week bump here. I'm talking about an annuity. This is going to have effects over months and years once we look at your portfolio. So there will be a link in the show notes that you can click and sign up for the pricing profit play with our team. And one of our consultants will jump on a 30-minute Zoom with you and ask you a few questions live on the Zoom and show you the screen and kind of show you what the profit potential is.
Dude, that's really cool. Yep. No pitch slap guarantee. Not going to get any behind the scenes pitches. You're just helping people out here, right?
Zero.
Amazing. That's what I like to hear. Well, everyone, I think that sounds like a solid offer. We'll get the link off of Chris. We'll stick it in the show notes, and then let's see if these guys and girls can help you out.
Yeah.
Chris, it's been an amazing chat, my man. Beyond the show notes, where can we send people to know a little bit more about the glorious work that Small Batch are doing, and of course, find out more about yourself?
Sure. We're on the web, sbstandard.com. We're on LinkedIn. You can email me directly, Chris, CHRIS, at sbstandard.com. And I really look forward to hearing from you if you have questions.
Amazing, Chris. Once again, my buddy, thank you so much for joining me at silly o'clock in the morning, your side of the pond. Everyone who's tuned in today to listen, you're all amazing. Everyone listening in the future, it's me from the past, thanking you time and time again because you all rock. Stay tuned for the next episode of Branding for Breweries, and we'll build back. We'll build back? No, we won't. We'll be back really soon. Rock on, people. Cheers, Chris.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this week's episode of Branding for Breweries. If you got something great from it, hit follow, like, and subscribe on your favorite streaming app. Or even better, leave a review, share it with your brewery pals, or get in touch, because I want to chat to you. Rock on!